Hey everyone, I am your host, Liz. Some people like to call me Busy, and this is episode 3 of Send Us Flowers. Today, I am going to be diving into anything and everything Hall of Flowers. I got a ton out of going to that event. It's massive, and I found some really incredible products. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about the trends that I noticed and some things that I would honestly like to see more out of from the cannabis industry. I'm also going to be sharing a bunch of your stories. I asked on Twitter after the whole Seth Rogen thing if you could all share stories of you being deleted off of a social media platform for posting about cannabis or CBD. And you all really came through. I can't wait to share some of these. It's really a rampant issue. So let's dive in. I want to, of course, start with sending some people flowers. Today is Veterans Day, and so I want to give flowers to all of the people who have served. Especially now, it's such a contentious thing for veterans and cannabis use. We really do need progress there. In the most recent bill from the Republicans, actually, there is language in there supporting the VA having doctors prescribe, or I guess I can't really use the language prescribe, but recommend cannabis. And so it won't be something that the VA can turn away. I think that this would be a huge improvement to the current environment. Veterans really do need cannabis, and they need safe access, and they need recognized access, because at this point, I mean, do I really have to get into the effects of opioids and other things that have, caused rampant issues in our society? I think that all veterans, all people, but truly all veterans should have safe access to cannabis and not be persecuted for it. That's ridiculous. So I'm sending flowers to anyone who has served, and also all of your families. I come from a very big military family, and so I absolutely recognize, it's really the whole family serving there. So I'm sending flowers to all of you and anyone who also is a veteran-owned cannabis brand. If there's any that I should check out, there's a few that I know of, but if there's any that I should check out, I would love to explore. I obviously love exploring new products, but I'm always very down to support anyone who has served for this country and wanted to delve into this industry. Now, speaking of this industry, let's dive into some of these products from Hall of Flowers and talk a little bit about what is Hall of Flowers. Okay, how do I even begin to describe Hall of Flowers? It's a stoner's heaven on earth. I think that's a pretty accurate description. There are cannabis brands everywhere, all sorts of different devices, products, big names in the industry, you name it. There's even sometimes celebrity sightings. It's an incredible event, easily one of the best, if not the best, I've ever been to. And I've been going to these things in the industry for years. So I got to pick up a ton of really cool products. I got to see a bunch of trends, and I have a few notes for what I would like to see more of from the industry moving forward. So first off, I picked up some fire product. I mean, absolute fire. And I have to give some props to actually Jimmy Devine, who gave me essentially a personal tour and helped me find some of the best flower I think I've ever smoked. Extremely talented, has been doing this for a long ass time. He knows his shit. Go check out his work if you haven't. Actually, I'm sending him some flowers. He literally sent me some flowers. So the feeling is mutual. I really, really respect him. And it was so cool to see what his favorite products were. I do want to start then with this white runts from Uma. Uma Sonoma. It is an incredible brand. Their product is all like the smell, the taste, all of like, you know, the terpene profiles. It's a great brand with great product. So I definitely want to come out saying that I think this is one of the top flower brands that I tried while I was there. A very close second would be Heights. Really loved this too. Really great product, and it has a bunch of the terpene profiles on the back. This was a huge trend that I really also want to see more of, is a breakdown of all the different terpene profiles within your product. I think it's so important to have that. You know, we're really moving away from like, is it sativa or indica, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know that has been something that consumers use for so long, but knowing the terpene profile and what works best for you will ultimately help you have a better cannabis experience, honestly. And so I really love that about Heights. It's great product, and I love that they tell you exactly what's in it. As for some other really cool flower brands and some classic flower brands, of course, the Cure Company had great product. Traditional had great product. King's Garden, I got a ton from them. They have great product. Another flower brand that I'd never tried before, props to Red for showing me this. It's called a Golden State, and this is called Woods. The smell of a Golden State was insane. I mean, my rule when looking for product that is right for you in cannabis, it's super scientific. Follow your nose wherever it goes. Toucan Sam is really appropriate for all ages throughout all of your life. So for all my 21 and up friends, this totally applies. Follow your nose wherever it goes. And my nose went to a Golden State. This is some of the, like, I'm going to say it, some of the dankest product I've ever smelled. It's crazy. I mean, it's loud. This is loud product. Oh, man, that's stupid. It also just, it looks beautiful. I'm probably not going to be able to give you a good close-up shot, but I mean, here, we can try. The crystals on this, don't mind my Old Bay boxers. Totally just gave myself away. But these are beautiful buds. I am obsessed with this brand. I mean, I really do wish that there was a way to do some kind of scratch and sniff, because I really would love to share this smell with you. It also does have a pretty nice breakdown of the different cannabinoids that are in here. I would love to see a better terpene profile, but you know, you can't win them all. But that just is incredible. One of the other flower brands that I really loved was this 7 Leaves. This is a classic brand in California. I really, really love the smell, the profile, everything was amazing. I got some incredible reviews from just literally when I was at the booth, this random dude came up and was just gushing. He was like, have you ever tried this before? This is the best flower I've ever tried. I've been here. He's like listing all these places off. He's like, I've been here, I've been there, and this is the best flower in all of the world. Like, not just California. Like, this guy, I was like, did you pay him? Is this someone you paid? Because holy shit. But I highly recommend 7 Leaves. I'm about to sound like that guy next, but I'm a big fan of this flower as well. So those are all my top flower picks. Now, a huge trend at Hall of Flowers was concentrates, and not just any concentrates, live rosin, and especially gear to smoke with. I mean, holy shit, there are so many brands that are trying to make concentrate consumption easier. I think for a lot of people, the torch situation, all the different gear you need is really intimidating. I know I definitely did not properly take dabs for a long ass time. So there are a lot of people trying to fix that, which I love. I think that anytime a brand makes something with their consumer in mind and to fix actual problems is the way any product should be made. So there are things like the Toki, the iSpire wand. There were so many different products. Puffco was everywhere. I was again, in total heaven. But there are a lot of brands out there trying to make concentrate consumption easier, and all the props to them because I love concentrates. Especially, oh my God. So I did have to show you Papa's Select. This is from Papa and Barkley. Papa's Select had some insane concentrates. This is a garlic cookies live rosin batter. I tried this as soon as I walked in, first day of Hall of Flowers, and I fell in love. I mean, it smells like fucking gas. This is that gassy, garlicky scent that you want out of a GMO. I mean, just incredible, and it smokes really well. It really is a premium product. And this is actually from Emerald Queen Farms. I really love when big brands work with smaller craft cannabis. It just makes for an incredible product. So I highly recommend it. Really good stuff. Another concentrate brand that, I mean, classic, but Connected and Alien Labs, have to mention them, of course. But this batter from Connected, I particularly really, really like. It's their Gelinade, Biscotti, and Gushers. So the smell is unbelievable. Oh my God. This is worth it to say, but I did have COVID. It sucked. We don't need to go too much more into that. But I did do some smell tests to see which came through first. And this Papa's Select and this batter were the first things of cannabis products that I was able to smell. So I don't know. You can take that or leave it, but I think that's a pretty telltale sign that they are fire products. Now, another trend that I saw at Hall of Flowers that was huge were any kind of beverages, water solubles to put into beverages, massive. And then also incorporating different cannabinoids in those beverages. There were so many different things with CBD, Delta 8, and it was really, really nice and uplifting experiences. I've talked about beverages before and water solubles. I love them. I think that we have a really, really long ways to go in this industry, and this is really, really pushing it forward. I love beverage options. I know a lot of other people do too. So I'm super, super excited to see more things like this come onto the market, especially if you literally watched my last podcast. I talked about My High. I love My High. It's an incredible brand. Their packaging is really, really mindful. It protects the product and allows you to have a better experience with it because it literally turns into a straw. I mean, you use the whole thing. That's awesome. I think that's incredible. I also noticed a lot of environmentally friendly packaging. I think that anytime you have, the thing is in cannabis, packaging is a mess. Let's all be really real about that. Packaging is a mess. There's so much waste that occurs because of all the child-proof, regulations. And so you just get a lot of excess. And I mean, it's not environmentally friendly. Let's all be super honest about that. So I do love seeing brands that have more, environmentally friendly packaging. I love that when, you have packaging where all of it gets put to use and has like an actual function instead of it just being like, here's pretty stuff, which is always fun, but like, there's a lot of excess. And I think that it's going to be really important for brands moving forward to be mindful of that. A few other trends that I really liked seeing was anything that was solventless, or with live rosin. You have a lot of brands coming out with live rosin gummies, live rosin vapes, solventless vapes. I think that this makes for a much better experience. I really, really love anything that is solventless or, this one says live ice water hash gummies. It just means you're getting more of the plant and it's not just, distillate with THC. So I think that this experience is so much better, especially for like your average consumer. But be warned, these are extremely strong. These Papa Select gummies are 10 milligrams per gummy. For me, I'm like a pretty heavy consumer. 10 to 20 of this is good for me. Like I am good. So just be warned that these are very strong products, but very, very worth it. And I love seeing everyone move away from distillate and more into utilizing the whole plant. I think that's awesome and so much better for the consumers. Another thing I really love was seeing the blend of technology. I've talked about Airgraft before, but I love Airgraft. And if you've never heard of them or used them before, I really recommend looking into it as your vape. I mean, this is a great vaporizer. It vibrates to let you know how much of a dose you took. You can control it from your phone. It gives you the entire terpene profile. I have never seen such an extensive breakdown since, ever. I've never seen such an extensive breakdown before. And I think that that is the way to inform consumers about what they're putting into their body. I mean, we have to be mindful of this stuff. So props to Airgraft. I can't wait to see what you continue to do. They also have a subscription model that makes it super accessible to continue to re-up. And, it's really cool to see more technology integrated into the cannabis experience. Let's take a puff. This is also a GMO cart. I don't know if you all have noticed, but I love garlic cookies. Easily one of my favorite strains. It's really just a great full body effect. So I'm always really partial to anything GMO. Okay, another trend that I saw from Hall of Flowers, unfortunately, was censorship. There were a ton of people that had issues with their accounts. They were getting strikes. They were getting content taken down. Some people were getting their entire accounts deleted. It's such a rampant problem in cannabis. And this isn't just a trend from Hall of Flowers. This has been an ongoing trend, unfortunately, that affects so many people in this industry. I want to share some of the stories that you all shared with me because, they are crazy. It's crazy. I'm pulling them up now. For all my audio listeners, I'm on Twitter. I'm about to share a bunch of stories from people who talked about losing their accounts because they posted cannabis or CBD. So, also a little bit of background for anyone who may not have listened to my previous episode. I saw on Instagram that Seth Rogen posted a story that said, "I sell weed," showing the weed of his brand Houseplant. And I said, one consistent thing I tell clients, don't explicitly mention sales of cannabis on Instagram. If anyone else posted this, their content or page would be deleted. I'm not saying he shouldn't be able to post this. We should all be able to post this. Curious on other takes. And Seth Rogen was one of those takes. And he said, as far as I understand, this is simply a factual statement. I wasn't linking to any sites that actually sell weed, which is technically true within the post. And so this stimulated a huge conversation about people who have been removed from social media platforms because of doing the exact same thing that he was able to do, except his page is not going to be deleted. And if it was, he would have an account manager that he would be able to reach out to very quickly through his team to be able to get it back. So a ton of people shared their own stories. Stony Spike said, absolutely no hate towards Seth Rogen. And just to preface this is not about Seth Rogen. This is just one example of hundreds out there. Absolutely no hate towards Seth Rogen. Just wish the rest of us could post our buds and not get deleted. Unfortunately, just showing my legal buds that are only for my personal use has almost cost me my page many times, and many others have been deleted. We just want to be treated fairly. I think that that's a fair assessment. Keegan Thompson said, funny how this works. All respect to Seth, but what if the company who cultivated his product posted this? What would happen to them? Surely Instagram would slap their wrist for posting, but Seth Rogen, sure fine. Let him post whatever he wants. Beowulf said, living that blue check life. Wouldn't it be nice if the playing field of social media were even? There are so many other stories like this. Bud Ultimate shares, I've created 7 different accounts for my store, and the past 6 are disabled within 2 hours. I can't compete with all the stores' Instagrams in Kelowna because mine is flagged for some reason. So lame that Seth can be verified and do everything that you're not allowed to do. This is crazy. Another person said, I know accounts with 200K plus followers and accounts with 200 followers post about selling butter weed. Nothing happens. Then others get banned for posting non-offensive memes. Most I've seen get banned due to where massive flagging or hashtags that are flagged. That's partially true. I mean, you all can look at the post and just scroll and see so many stories. Weird shot. Sometimes it's enough to post a CBD oil or flower to get deleted without these statements. QNP, Lisa Campbell, I had my personal Instagram page taken down with 10,000 followers. Please acknowledge your privilege. Another person did also point out that maybe he didn't link it specifically in that story post, but there is a link to Houseplant, which is the brand for his weed. And so it really is a rampant issue. And I noticed that a lot of people also commented that they didn't even realize this was a problem. And it is. It's been going on for forever. There are so many other platforms outside of Instagram that take down this content, but only for some people. It is not enforced clearly and fairly across the board. Now, we know that. So how do you move forward from this? This doesn't need to be just a giant, bitch session. I think that there is always resolve, even if it's not with the platforms themselves at this very moment. There's at least resolve that we can take into our own hands. And that's creating other places that you can post and, foster your community, whether that's a newsletter or a Telegram chat or through any other means outside of a social media platform. I really, really recommend that you invest in those other platforms for your brand, or if you're an influencer or content creator, make sure you have another way to reach your audience when your page ultimately gets taken down, because it's possible. It truly is. I've seen so many pages come down, especially over the last few weeks. Beautifully Blunt actually just came back. A few others just came back. Aaron's page on Twitter just recently came back. I even heard recently a few people had gotten kicked off of MailChimp. If you're looking for a safe newsletter platform, use Drip or Klaviyo. Those are 2 really good options with really robust features. There are also ways to text your audience. Through most platforms, you are going to get banned, but there are ones that are 420 friendly and can help you be compliant in that process. So just know that even though this is an issue, there are always workarounds. And we have to be creative. That's just something in this industry that really sets it apart from others. You've got to be really creative, and that's why you see tons of people who work with celebrities. Partnerships are huge in cannabis, and it is no coincidence. It's because if you can't talk about your product, you have to find someone who can. And so that's why a ton of brands do that. There's tons of other ways to make sure that you can, advertise without truly advertising. That's why a lot of people have merch companies. I mean, look at Cookies. That was essentially a merch company. There's so many ways to do that. Art, other means, events, get creative. This is the industry to do that in. So just know that there is always a solution, even if you really have to fight for it. And let's hope that in the near future, we will be seeing that federal movement that will allow this to force these platforms to give us clear advertising guidelines. That was some of the language that was in some of the most recent bills too, to have more clear advertising guidelines. Now, do we want to end up like Canada? No offense. I would prefer that we didn't, but I do think there needs to be some kind of regulatory guidance in place for how people and brands can move forward to, compliantly talk about cannabis and their cannabis brands. So, you're now all ready to go become cannabis branding experts. And I really appreciate you all being here. I had a lot of fun diving into a bunch of these products. I really think that you should all, check a few of these out. DM me if you need further information on some of them or where to find them. A lot of these are on the California market, but a lot of the actual devices, since they're ancillary products, they can be sold nationally. So, I didn't even get into this. I was going to show you all the filter, but this can be sold nationally. I've talked about this in previous podcasts. A lot of the devices you can find in whichever state you might be in, but a lot of the other live product, we'll call it, is on the California market. So if you're in the area, I highly recommend you checking them out. Thank you for joining me again to talk about Hall of Flowers, to talk about social media, to check out some really cool products and talk about trends in the industry. If you have anything that you think I missed or want to talk about more, please let me know. And of course, tag anyone that you would like to send some flowers to in the next episode. That's a wrap. Thank you all. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.